Part 127. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1261. Some of these corpses were facing up, some were facing up, but this time, all the corpses were facing up. Immediately afterwards, a terrifying scene happened. All the corpses turned their eyes to look at me and Fen Yingying. I secretly screamed in my heart. It turned out to be a corpse. I quickly pulled Fen Yingying away from the pool. Wow! The formalin in the pool began to churn, like waves crashing on the beach. The formalin surged out, and corpses crawled out of the corpse pool one after another. Their movements were stiff and their postures were very weird, like the grudge goddess climbing down from the attic. In the blink of an eye, countless corpses crawled out of the corpse pool. My expression became extremely serious, and I guarded Fen Yingying behind me. I used my hands to make secrets, intending to use the Nine Heavens realm to eliminate these corpses. But at this moment, a loud noise suddenly came from the corpse pool. A corpse shot straight into the sky from the corpse pool and flew towards me. This is Flying Zombie. Flying zombies are thousand-year-old zombies who have been successful in cultivation. Flying zombies can be good at spells and their health is not bad. Because this kind of zombie can fly, it is called flying zombies. The flying zombie in front of you does have thousands of years of cultivation, but Tianfu University has only been established for a few decades. This flying zombie has not always been here. It must be those guys from the Taoist sect who transported the flying zombie here to suck the corpse energy of these corpses, thereby strengthening Fei Zheng's Taoism. The flying zombie in front of me is a female corpse, dressed in red, but it was wetted with formalin and stuck tightly to her body. Moreover, the color of her skin is different from other corpses, it is not dark brown, but as white as snow. Moreover, her eyes are also full of agility, and she should be intelligent. Although this flying zombie is strong, it is still much worse than Huaxiu. With my current strength, it is not impossible to subdue it. Fei Eyes Hung flew in front of me, then landed, looked me up and down, and then said, "You smell so good." Fei Zhan shrugged her nose, her face full of intoxication, and she said to herself, "If I can suck your blood, my Taoism will definitely increase greatly. I am of Ziwei destiny, and I have not only Ziwei energy but also dragon energy in my body. My blood is naturally a great tonic for zombies." I looked at her coldly and said, "If you have this ability, come and give it a try." Fei Zhan covered his mouth and smiled sweetly, "Interesting, interesting. I have never met a man as interesting as you in thousands of years." Smiling, the expression on Fei Zhan's face suddenly became extremely cold. "Since you want to die, then I will make it happen for you." Fei Zhan flew straight towards me. I guarded Fen Yingying behind me, summoned Jingxiao, took a stance, and struck Fei Zhan with a sword. Fei Zhong refused to dodge, and chose to resist forcefully. He only heard a clang, and the sky struck Fei Zhong on his shoulder. The next moment, Fei Zhong heard a miserable howl. "Ah!" Fei Zheng covered his shoulders and backed away, looking at Jingxiao in my hand in disbelief. 100 years of lightning struck the wood. I don't want to talk nonsense with her, so I'll kill her and find my third uncle as soon as possible. I used the power of the Nine Eyes Heaven realm to teleport behind Fei Zhan, and I waved the Jingxiao in my hand again to slash at Fei Zhan. Fei Zheng turned around suddenly and roared angrily. The corpse energy around her body solidified, forming a shield around her, making Jingxiao unable to move forward at all. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1262. I suddenly felt a familiar aura on Fei Zhan. I thought about it carefully, and my brain buzzed. This aura turned out to be the aura of Huaxiu. But how could the aura of Huaxiu appear on this Fei Zhong? Just when I was stunned, Fei Zhan released the corpse energy in his body again. I was forced to retreat by this powerful corpse energy. I distanced myself from Fei Zhan, stared at her coldly, and asked sternly, "Why do you have the aura of my sister on you?" Fei Zhan looked at me doubtfully and asked, "Your sister? You are probably talking about the zombie that is about to become a boneless zombie, right? I ate her flesh and drank her blood, so naturally I will have her breath." When I heard this sentence, I was stunned on the spot. I ate Huaxiu's flesh and drank Huaxiu's blood. Although Huaxiu is a zombie, immortal, even if he is injured, he will heal quickly, but the pain still exists. The purpose of Daemon kidnapping Huaxiu is to use Huaxiu to control the zombies he raised. In other words, Daemon wants to raise zombies with the same bloodline as Huaxiu. After all, Huaxiu's true identity is a princess, and with her immortal bloodline, she is enough to command thousands of corpses. Although Huaxiu is only one step away from not turning into bones, he is not turning into bones after all. The Taoist sect has a deep foundation and strength. If there are only one or two people, Huaxiu can still handle it, but, there are so many people in the Taoist sect, what can Huaxiu do? Can you resist? At this moment, Huaxiu must be suffering from the pain of peeling and cramping. Thinking of this, guilt, anger and other emotions filled my heart. Huaxiu's beautiful face appeared in my mind unconsciously. Pictures of me getting along with her flashed before my eyes. When we first met, Huaxiu resented me a lot, but she regarded me as her brother from the beginning to the end. And now, my brother failed to protect her properly. My body started to tremble uncontrollably. Fei Zhan raised a sneer at the corner of his mouth, looked at me, and said, "It's true that you are a brother. Your sister is suffering inhuman torture right now, and you are here." I held Jingxiao tightly and looked at Fei Zhan in front of me, murderous intent flashing in my eyes. I used the power of the Nine Eyes Heaven Realm to disappear in place, and Fei Zhen, who was smiling coquettishly on the spot, instantly became alert. At this moment, I suddenly appeared on the left side of Fei Zhan. She turned back sharply and once again used the corpse energy in her body to resist my attack. But this time, I directly unlocked the seals on the two meridians in my body. The raging dragon energy rushed wildly in my body. I directly used the 9-level thunder technique, superimposing its power to the 6th level. Blue lightning shot out around me, transforming into the shape of a thunder dragon, lingering around the Jingxiao sword. Fei Zhan's expression changed drastically, and I slashed at him with my sword. Boom! The thunder dragon roared over and swallowed Fei Zhen directly. I landed firmly on the ground and took a step forward. The yin and yang double dragon diagram unfolded under my feet. The yin and yang double dragon diagram began to rotate rapidly, and two blue dragons, one black and one white, jumped out of the circle like blue dragons emerging from the water. Two blue dragons circled and danced, trapping Fei Zhen. Ah! Fei Zhan let out a heart-rending cry. I took a deep breath. The dragon energy in the two meridians was not enough to kill Fei Zhen, who had practiced Taoism for thousands of years, with one blow. I have to solve one more problem. This is already my limit. Just when I unlocked the seal, Fei Zhan let out a roar, and the zombies around him rushed towards me like crazy. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1263. My expression condensed, and with a wave of my hand, the ink-colored darkness around me flowed like sea water, and countless yin soldiers emerged from the sea of ghosts. Not only do I have to deal with the flying zombie in front of me, but I also have to protect Fen Yingying's safety. Therefore, it is most appropriate to use the Netherworld Ghost Sea. The yin soldiers fought against zombies, and I had also unlocked the third meridian in my body. This is already my limit. Forcibly unlocking the dragon energy sealed in the meridians will cause great harm to me, but I can't control that much now. I must now eliminate the flying zombie in front of me as soon as possible. Then find Uncle San, leave here, and then look for Hwashiu. As for the other two corpse raising places, I have no time to take care of them. After all, Hwashiu's safety is the most important thing. This time, I don't plan to use the 9 layers thunder technique, I want to use a brand new method. I quickly knead the formula and muttered something. Deluotiank, Zaiwei Star Palace. It is located at the height of the North Pole and is located in the middle of the sky. The Dharma name is Golden Wheel, which is blazing, and the Taoist name is Jade Duxuanzun. I used Zaiwei Ajao before when I fought against Zhao Mian. Ziwei Gao is relying on the divine power of Emperor Ziwei. To put it simply, he is borrowing power from myself. I am Emperor Ziwei, but I have not reached his level. However, the divine power of Emperor Ziwei still exists in the world, that is, the soul. Moreover, I also have Ziwei true essence to protect my body. It is very easy to borrow the divine power of Emperor Ziwei. However, I do not plan to use Ziwei Ajao this time, but Ziwei Ajao seal. That is to say, attack through seals. I turned the seal into a palm, lavender light condensed in my palm, and I pushed Fei Zhen with one palm. This palm hit Fei Zhen's body firmly, and the next moment, there was a bang, and Fei Zhen was sent flying backwards by my palm, and fell heavily against the wall. This palm made the entire space tremble. I instantly came to Fei Zhen. I had already punched a big bloody hole in Fei Zhen's chest. She gritted her teeth and looked at me, with a look in her eyes that wanted to eat me alive. It is worthy of the 1,000-year-old Fei Zhen. This palm used almost all my strength, but I was unable to destroy it. I knelt down and asked coldly, "Tell me, where are my sister and my third uncle?" Fei Zheng remained silent, so I summoned Jing Xiao and stabbed Fei Zheng's body. "Explain." Fei Zhen let out a miserable howl. "Your sister should be at Daemon. As for the third uncle you mentioned, she should be in a room not far away." After getting the answer I wanted, I didn't hesitate at all. I raised Jing Xiao in my hand and cut off Fei Zheng's head. I turned around and looked at the Yin soldiers who were fighting zombies. I took back the Sea of Ghosts, and regardless of whether the Karma Fire could ignite the formalin, I directly burned the zombies with the Karma Fire. Although Karmic Fire is fire, it is not hot. It can only burn evil things, so the formalin was not ignited. I sealed the 3 meridians that were opened in my body. In an instant, I felt my body soften and I almost fell to the ground. If you want to completely destroy the corpse raising ground, you still have to find the essence of the corpse raising ground, which is the formation I, and then destroy it. However, I am more worried about my third uncle's safety now, so I'd better go find him as soon as possible. Seeing how weak I was, Fen Yingying quickly stepped forward to support me and asked with concern, "Brother Lu, are you okay?" Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1264. I shook my head at Fen Yingying and replied, "I'm fine." The corpses here had been burned, and I didn't even think about taking a rest. I took a flashlight and looked around, and sure enough I discovered a room. I dragged my tired body to the door and pushed it open. The walls of the room are covered with talismans, and there are red ropes hanging everywhere. The red ropes are also covered with talismans, and a magic circle is painted with blood on the ground. A figure was dropped in the air. I stepped forward and saw that it was my third uncle. When I saw my third uncle, I was stunned in place as if I had been struck by lightning, and my body began to tremble uncontrollably. At this moment, the third uncle was breathless and dying. His body was covered with blood, and his left arm had been cut off. I staggered forward and called in a trembling voice, "Uncle." After calling several times, the third uncle finally responded. He slowly opened his eyes, and when he saw me, he softly shouted, "Xiao Su." My heart was pounding, and I quickly stepped forward to get my third uncle down, but my third uncle stopped me and said, "Xiao Su, first, break the formation, and then let me down." I nodded repeatedly, looking for the eye of the magic circle. I have never seen such a corpse-gathering array. Even if I searched the memories of Yuan Tiangang and Lu Bowen, I could not find any clues. Just when I didn't know what to do, my third uncle said, "At the southeast corner, drop your blood on the eye of the formation to break the formation." When I heard these words, I quickly came to the southeast corner, took out Jingxiao, separated my palms, and dripped blood on the ground. When the blood fell to the ground, the talismans in the entire room suddenly burst into flames and were completely burned, and the magic circle was destroyed. I quickly untied my third uncle and left the room with my third uncle on my back. "Eldest nephew, third uncle knows that you will definitely come back to save me," third uncle said weakly behind me. I quickly said, "Third uncle, please stop talking now. If you have anything to say, we can talk about it after we go out." The third uncle laughed hard and said, "I'm just happy to see my nephew come to save me." This sentence made me feel even more guilty. I took my third uncle out of the underground morgue the way I came, and then sent my third uncle to the hospital. Nothing went wrong along the way. After the third uncle arrived at the hospital, he was sent to the emergency room for rescue. I sat outside with a heavy heart. My third uncle is my only relative. However, my only relative suffered such hardships. As his nephew, I did not come to the rescue at the first time. This makes me extremely guilty. I kept praying in my heart that my third uncle would be safe and sound. Miao Fengluan and others rushed back as soon as they got the news. Seeing me sitting silently on the chair, everyone came forward to comfort me. I said I was fine, and time passed by. Soon, 3 hours passed. The door of the emergency room was opened. I quickly stepped forward and asked, "Doctor, my third uncle." The doctor took off his mask and said to me, "Don't worry, the patient is out of danger, but he has lost his left arm." Hearing this, I breathed a long sigh of relief. Later, the third uncle was transferred to the ward, and I sat beside the hospital bed and watched over the third uncle. The third uncle woke up at noon the next day. The first thing he did when he woke up was to smile at me and said softly, "My nephew, are you scared?" Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1265. I hummed. Third uncle stretched out his hand with difficulty, touched my face, and said, "Don't worry, third uncle, am I not fine?" I looked at third uncle, feeling extremely heavy, and said, "But third uncle, your hands." The third uncle said nonchalantly, "It's just losing an arm, it's better than losing your life." Third uncle's optimism made me feel even more guilty. I said, "Uncle, I'm sorry. If I could have saved you earlier, you wouldn't have suffered like this." Third uncle saw that I was in a low mood and comforted me, "It's also my fault, third uncle, that I accidentally fell into those people's tricks. By the way, why didn't Miss Su come with you?" I briefly told my third uncle about Su Tianxian. After hearing this, the third uncle was slightly startled, then he let out a long sigh and said, "Xiao Su, you have to treat this girl well, and when everything is over, try to give me a grandnephew for the third uncle." I held third uncle's hand, nodded repeatedly, and replied, "Yes, just take good care of yourself and this day will come." I asked my third uncle what happened these days. The third uncle seemed a little hesitant, as if he didn't want to tell me about this. I said, "Third uncle, if you have anything to say, just say it. I am no longer the weak and incompetent Lu Su I once was. You have suffered so much injustice, and my nephew will definitely seek justice for you." The third uncle looked at me, his eyes full of relief. Actually, It's my fault for not being able to discover the tricks of those guys from the Taoist sect in a hurry. The third uncle told me exactly what happened in the past few days. He relies on the skills his grandfather gave him to make money by looking after people in Tianfu City. Fen Yingying's father found his third uncle and asked him to save his daughter. The third uncle was fully confident in solving the matter of raising a kid. However, he never expected that he would meet several elders from the Taoist sect while handling this matter. These elders kidnapped him without saying a word and ordered him to set up a corpse gathering formation unique to my Lu family. At first, the third uncle did not agree, but these Taoist people thought of ways to torture him. In the end, the people from the Taoist sect threatened my life, but my third uncle still disagreed. After all, with Su Tianqian by my side, the people from the Taoist sect could not do anything to me. However, the people from the Taoist sect said that Su Tianqian had left me and wanted to kill me. It was easy, but under constant threats, the third uncle finally agreed before setting up the formation. Third uncle knew that if he disappeared, I would definitely rescue him, so I left a mark. Hearing this, I felt angry. This door is simply too deceptive. Not only did he hurt my sister, but he also tortured my third uncle. I, Lu Su, must avenge this. When third uncle saw the anger flashing in my eyes, he quickly said, Xiao Su, don't do anything stupid. Isn't third uncle intact in front of you now? That door is not as simple as you think. With your own strength, it is difficult to get any advantage from them. I took a deep breath and said to my third uncle, you don't have to worry about this matter. I will definitely seek justice for you, nephew. After all, that sect bullies people too much. If I don't have any reaction, he will definitely think that I am easy to bully. Seeing that I was so determined, the third uncle just told me earnestly, you are too old, and you won't listen to what the third uncle said. The third uncle only has one request, and that is to ensure his own safety. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1266. I nodded and replied, Uncle San, I can do it. In the evening, Fen Yingying and her daughter also came to visit their third uncle. The father and daughter expressed their gratitude and deep apology to the third uncle. If it weren't for Fen Yingying, third uncle wouldn't be like this. The third uncle didn't pay attention and just smiled. Miao Fengluan came to me and offered to take care of my third uncle. Thank you. Miao Fengluan shook his head slightly and said to me, it's okay. With Miao Fengluan taking care of his third uncle, his injury should be able to heal quickly. After I said goodbye to my third uncle, I returned to Ji Yuntang. When Princess Longji saw me coming back, she asked with some confusion, what happened? Why do you look so unhappy? I forced a smile to Princess Longji and said, it's nothing. Princess Longji put her hands on her hips and said with some dissatisfaction, what's wrong? You don't regard me as a friend, and you don't want to tell me what happened. Helpless, I could only tell Princess Longji about my third uncle. Daemon. Princess Longji murmured a few words in a low voice, I heard about it when I traveled around the world for 1,000 years, but I can't remember it clearly. I originally thought that Taoism had emerged in the past 100 years, but I never expected that Taoism actually existed 1,000 years ago. It can be seen from this that the strength of Dao sect should not be underestimated. Hey, do you want me to help you destroy the Taoist sect? Princess Longji looked at me with a smile. I rolled my eyes and said, don't come here, you won't be able to show much of your strength here. Besides, this is my business, and I want to solve it in my own way. Princess Longji is a righteous god, so if she takes action in the human world, she will definitely be restricted. TCH. Isn't it easy to deal with you? I didn't want to argue with her, so I asked, I have a question, why are you gods in the dream? Princess Longji was slightly startled after hearing this, and said, dream? You should be talking about the holy places. Holy places? I saw that Princess Longji knew these things, so I quickly asked her to talk about it. Princess Longji hesitated and decided to tell me what she knew. Whether you are a human, a demon, or a ghost, after you reach a certain stage of cultivation, you will be promoted to the immortal class, and the place of promotion is the heaven. In the beginning, it was true, but the heaven experienced a catastrophe, the gods fell, and those gods who survived were imprisoned in the holy places. In fact, the holy places have a good name, but in fact that world it should be called the tomb of the gods. Has the world experienced a catastrophe? Isn't that exactly the same as the twilight of the gods prophesied in Norse mythology? I asked, why did the catastrophe happen? Princess Longji shook her head and said, I don't know, but the reason why the gods were sealed in the tomb of the gods is their own fault. It's your own fault. Princess Longji nodded very seriously and said, after becoming powerful, people are extremely obsessed with power, and so are gods and immortals. Becoming a god means being shackles. Under the shackles, divinity is far more terrifying than human nature. I believe this sentence very much. Because I have met many righteous gods, but they have never fulfilled their responsibilities as gods. What about you? Is your true body also in the tomb of the gods? Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1267. Of course not. I have no desires or desires. How could I go to a place like that? I rolled my eyes and said, I want to hear the truth from you. Princess Longji stuck out her tongue and said, well, actually, I gave up my position as a god long ago. My real body is in Qingluan Do Palace in Phoenix Mountain, but for some reasons, I can't leave there. I nodded, hesitated again, and released Qingdi. A white smoke slowly condensed in front of me, and a moment later, Qingdi appeared in front of me. When Princess Longji saw Qing Emperor, her red lips slightly opened and she looked at Qing Emperor with disbelief. Dong, Emperor Dong you, didn't you die in that catastrophe? Princess Longji shouted in shock. Qingdi looked at Princess Longji, was slightly startled, and asked in surprise, Longji? Why are you here? Qingdi is the god of Mount Tai, Emperor Dongyu. According to Han folklore, Emperor Yu was in charge of the birth of all creatures in the world. As the incarnation of Mount Tai, the god of Mount Tai is the divine messenger who communicates between heaven and earth. He is also the protector of emperors of all ages who were entrusted by heaven to govern the world. However, I am very curious. The legendary Emperor Dongyu has only his soul left at this moment and has become a ghost emperor. I came to Lusu. Qingdi seemed to know something and nodded slightly. He looked at me and asked, why did you call me out? I said, I have something to ask you. Qingdi replied without thinking, I don't know, and I won't tell you if I know. Now, the more you know, the worse it will be for you. I was speechless. Qingdi looked at Princess Longji and asked, Longji, you didn't say anything inappropriate to her, right? Longji waved his hands repeatedly, his little head shaking like a rattle. No, no, no. I didn't say that. That's good. I also wanted to say that I saw Qingdi disappearing from the same place. I sighed slightly. It seemed that the Qing Emperor didn't want to reveal anything to me. Princess Longji patted me on the shoulder and said, hey, poor kid, the more you know, the worse it will be for you, so you don't have to ask me, I won't tell. I suddenly thought of something and asked, by the way, you said you wanted to tell me about Tianqian before, but you can tell me now. Princess Longji's expression suddenly became serious, and she said to me, The matter of Su Tianxian accepting the inheritance is far from as simple as you think. You and him are very important to the tomb of the gods. I won't keep you here for too long. After her inheritance is over, I will find a way to bring her back. If I don't go, I'm afraid it will be difficult for you to see her again in your life. When I heard this, my face became very serious. I said to Princess Longji, I will take her home personally when the time comes. Alas, why am I not so lucky? Princess Longji's tone was a little sour. Just as I was talking to her, Zhang Xiai came. You came just in time. If you don't come to me, I will go to you, I said to Zhang Xiai. Zhang Xiai asked with some confusion, what do you want from me? I replied, you must know where Daemon's lair is, tell me. Zhang Xiai was stunned, frowning, and asked, you don't want to go to Daemon to find your sister, do you? I snorted coldly and said, I want Dao sect to disappear from this world. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1268. Zhang Xiai was slightly startled when he heard this, and then looked at me very seriously. Lu Su, you have to think carefully. The Taoist sect has a history of at least 1,000 years, and its members are all heretics. How easy is it to destroy the Taoist sect? What Zhang Xiai said is right. Dao sect is a huge thing to me. However, I am not that easy to mess with. Since you have offended me, even if I don't let the Taoist sect be destroyed, I will still skin the Taoist sect. I know everything you said. You seem to have forgotten my identity. Zhang Xiai's head was full of black lines and asked, what is your identity? I rolled my eyes and replied, now that Zhang Yuqiang is dead, I am now the city god of Tianfu City God. Tianfu City God has hundreds of thousands of yin soldiers. I don't believe that hundreds of thousands of yin soldiers can't crush the Taoist gate. Zhang Xiai sighed slightly and said, hundreds of thousands of yin soldiers are indeed qualified to challenge the Taoist sect, but you have to know that the city god is the one who protects the safety of the city. To send out troops, you need to seek the consent of the underworld. Moreover, once the number of yin soldiers is reduced, some evil ghosts will come out to do evil. I smiled and said, you don't have to worry about this. Just tell me where the Dao sect's lair is and I will have a way to deal with them. Tianfu City God's yin soldiers can move, but not too much. Besides, I still have 20 to 30,000 yin soldiers in the netherworld Ghost Sea. These yin soldiers are very suitable for dealing with Taoist sects. In addition, I have many trump cards, including the 8-character mantra and the dragon energy sealed by the 12 meridians. The Taoist sect hurt my third uncle and kidnapped my sister. I will avenge this revenge even if it costs my life. Seeing that my attitude was so resolute, Zhang Xiai stopped trying to persuade me. He said, the old nest of Daemon is located on Yinlong Mountain in the eastern suburbs of Tianfu City. However, I still advise you that if you have any issues, we should discuss them together. Don't take any risks, act accordingly. I nodded and said, I know. Princess Longji said carelessly on the side, it's okay, Lu Su won't die that easily. It's just a small Taoist section, I will take action when the time comes. I glanced at Princess Longji and said nothing. Zhang Xiai looked at Princess Longji and asked, Fengluan, when did you become so exaggerated? Why are you talking big words? As soon as these words came out, Princess Longji was stunned on the spot. She stretched out her hand, pointed at herself, and said in shock, you are a little human, how dare you call this princess exaggerated? Do you believe it or not, this princess will give you a little lesson. I told you to live but not to die. I quickly said to Zhang Xiai, she is not Miao Fengluan, she is Princess Longji. Zhang Xiai was immediately stunned on the spot. You said she is Princess Longji. I nodded. Zhang Xiai hurriedly raised his hands to Princess Longji and said, I'm ignorant of Mount Tai. I bumped into you. Please forgive me. Princess Longji crossed her hands on her chest, hummed softly, and turned around to enter the room. Zhang Shi breathed a long sigh of relief when he saw Princess Longji returning to the room. Lu Su, don't be anxious about this matter. Let us discuss it carefully. Ruo Hong, Wu 11, and Wang Cheng can all help you. You don't have to bear all this alone. I smiled and said, okay, then please tell them. Zhang Shi gave me many instructions, and then left Ji Yuntang. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanba. Chapter 1269. Watching Zhang Shi's leaving figure, my expression slowly darkened. Princess Longji's voice suddenly sounded in my ears. Let's go, what are you doing standing around? I looked back and saw Princess Longji leaning on the doorframe, looking at me with a smile. Where to go? Princess Longji rolled her eyes and said angrily, don't think that I don't know what you are thinking. You don't want your friends to help you at all. I looked at Princess Longji blankly. How could she know what I was thinking? I really don't intend to accept help from Zhang Shi and others. As for the reason, it's very simple. I don't want them to take risks for me. If they get hurt because of me, I will feel very guilty. Wait a minute, I have to contact someone. With that said, I took out my phone and called Yu Sun Tao. Before we parted ways last time, Yu Sun Tao gave me her phone number and asked me to contact her if I had anything to do. When the call was connected, I said without any nonsense, straight to the point, where are you? I want to see you. Hey. You kid, don't you know how to call me uncle? Okay, uncle, where are you? I want to see you. Just wait, I'll go find you now. Yu Sun Tao was once a disciple of the Taoist section. She must be very familiar with the Taoist section. I want her to lead the way. Just as I was waiting for Yu Sun Tao to arrive, there was a sudden knock on the door of Ji Yuntang. I opened the door, but the person who came was not Yu Sun Tao, but someone I didn't expect. It turned out to be Huo Qiubing. Huo Qiubing was wearing a black robe, with sword-shaped eyebrows and starry eyes, and he was very imposing. His first words when he saw me were, "Where's Huaxiu?" I didn't say anything, I just invited him in. I didn't hide Huaxiu's matter like Huo Qiubing. Huo Qiubing fell into silence after hearing this. I'm going to save him now, do you want to go too? Huo Qiubing raised his eyes to look at me, then shook his head and said, I won't go. The only person she wants to see now is you, not me. If you can't even save her, you really don't deserve to be her brother. I said in a deep voice, I will rescue her. Huo Qiubing looked at me deeply, then stood up and left. Huo Qiubing undoubtedly cared about Huaxiu. However, I can feel that Huo Qiubing is avoiding Huaxiu intentionally or unintentionally. Huaxiu once said that in her last life, she lived for the one she loved, and in this life, she will live for the one who loves her. That means living for me. Not long after Huo Qiubing left, Yu Sun Tao came. I expressed my intention to him. After hearing this, Yu Sun Tao stood up and refused me. No. You can't go. Your master handed you over to me. You can't handle that door alone. If something happens to you, how should I explain to your master? Yu Sun Tao's reaction was what I expected. I said, Uncle, if Tianqian were here, she would agree. Yu Sun Tao's attitude is still very tough and he refuses to take me there. I have said all my nice things, but she remains unmoved. I took a deep breath and said, whether you agree to my answer or not, I must make the Tao sect pay the price. If you have the ability to stop me, then you will. Yu Sun Tao was also irritated by me. She shouted at me, you kid, Hard and soft words don't work. I have to educate you for your master today. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1270. Just when Yu Sun Tao was about to attack me, a dark wind hit me, and a figure appeared in front of me. I took a closer look and it turned out to be Xiang Yi. Xiang Yi's expression was serious. Seeing his appearance, I suddenly had a bad feeling in my heart. Sure enough, Xiang Yi's next words made my heart twitch in an instant. Lu Su, something happened to Zhong Zhenling. I stood up suddenly and asked anxiously, what happened to Grandpa Zhong? Xiang Yi replied, he was captured by the Taoists. After Grandpa Zhong separated from me, he went alone to investigate the matter of the corpse raising ground. After some investigation, Grandpa Zhong mastered the specific location of the corpse raising ground, but he was discovered by the Taoist people. Grandpa Zhong is already old, and he doesn't have much life left, so his strength is greatly reduced. I clenched my fist and slammed it on the Eight Immortals chair. It's Daemon again. Third uncle, Huaxiu, and Grandpa Zhong, the three closest people to me, were all persecuted by them. The Taoist door is not removed. I, Lu Su, am not worthy of being a human being. At this moment, a Taoist figure appeared outside Ji Yun Hall. At the same time, a dark wind spread throughout the hall. I looked at the figure and saw the figure slowly walking towards Ji Yuntang. The man stepped out of the darkness into the light, and I could see his face clearly. It was an old man, with a stooped body, a face as pale as marble, and a strange aura all over his body. When Yu Sun Tao saw this person, his expression changed slightly. The old man looked at me and smiled sinisterly. Lu Su, if you want to save your sister and Zhong Zhenling, then go to Yinlong Mountain alone. If there is a second one, we guarantee that you will not see your sister and Zhong Zhenling. The identity of this person is self-evident, he is a member of the Taoist sect. After saying that, the old man slowly backed away and disappeared into the darkness. Xiang Yi looked at me and asked, Lu Su, what are you going to do? This is obviously the Hungmen banquet, and the Taoist sect wants to take this opportunity to eradicate you. I looked up at Xiang Yi and said, you want to eradicate me? I want to see who eradicates who. Yu Sun Tao quickly advised, Lu Su, we need to discuss this matter in the long term. I can't just watch you die. I stood up without saying anything. Yu Sun Tao still wanted to stop me, but Xiang Yi stepped forward to stop me and said, let him go. After being together for such a long time, Xiang Yi understands me. Last time, he was trapped in Bamang Mountain, and I came to rescue him. As the saying goes, dragons have reverse scales, and those who touch them will die, and my Lu Su's reverse scales are the people around me. Whoever hurts the people around me needs to pay a price. Since Daemon wants me to go, then I will go. I left Ji Yuntang and drove to Yinlong Mountain in the eastern suburbs. Princess Longji originally wanted to follow her, but I refused. After all, Daemon asked me to go alone. Soon, I came to the eastern suburbs, and after some searching, I found the specific location of Yinlong Mountain. Almost everyone in Tianfu City knows Yinlong Mountain. There are many supernatural rumors about Yinlong Mountain, the most famous of which is the legend of the demon dragon. According to legend, Yinlong Mountain suppresses a demon dragon. This demon dragon is cruel and likes to eat people. Moreover, the Taoism is extremely high, and the people are miserable. Yinlong's atrocities were known to an expert. The expert eliminated the evil for the people, opened an altar, set up formations and drew talismans, and sealed the demonic dragon in Yinlong Mountain. Suppressed by the dragon energy of Yinlong Mountain.